As a result, it was observed that, past tense. Then again graphs, figure, caption of the table was at the top, but the caption of the figure is below the figure. Equations, omega c, these are italics. Italics. Figures again. Then at the end, conclusion. Clear cut conclusion. What are the findings of this research? Conflict of interest declaration. Authors declare no conflict of interest. Even one can add acknowledgement. You can acknowledge your institution, you can acknowledge people, you can acknowledge instrumentation centers from where you carried out the characterizations and all. References, yes, these references the pattern of these references will be different for different journals that you can set from the reference management system, right? And with this, there is some supplementary file also. So yes, this is the general structure of paper, research paper. Title should be catchy, keyword should be catchy, it should reflect the main content of the paper. And yes, one should check the titles also while finalizing it, whether the same title is available on web or not, right? So take care of that. So let's see the guidelines related to the use of international system of units. Again, this is the PDF file where we have complete information. I will read, I will try to highlight the points. We know that these units generally we use in SI, that is System International Units. Even we use CGS unit many times. How to write the units in the paper? That is again leads to error in writing. So we have some base units, we have prefixes, and we have several derived units. So base units are well known to you. These are 7 base units we have, and the prefixes: length, mass, time, electric current, thermodynamic temperature, amount of substance, luminous intensity. These are the units and these are its symbols. Meter, kg. Many times we represent kg by capital K and small g, but in technical writing, in scientific writing, we use small k, right? Time, small s is the symbol. Electric current, capital A, capital K, mole, CD. Prefixes, yes, we use prefixes in order to give weightage on the units. In order to scale up or scale down the units, we use prefixes, and These prefixes are known to you, right? Nano, pico, femto, giga, capital G for giga, capital M for mega, kilo. Here you can see kilo is represented by capital K, right? Hecto, tera, peta, and so on. Derived units. Yes, the units which can be derived from the base units, that is area, volume, wave number, and all other units, right? This is well known to us. Luminescence, luminance, especially we measure in candela per meter square, that is CD per meter square. And these are some special units which are not derived units. Radian, stradian, SR, hertz, Newton, Pascal, Joule, Watt, Coulomb, Volt, capacitance, Ohm, Siemens. These are some special units, and there are many more. Now let's come to the writing style for these units. So name of the units are always written in lowercase. Always written in lowercase. Their symbols are also written in lowercase unless they are derived from the names of specific persons. Right? This is again well known to us. Students, you can note it down. Sit with your notebook and pen. There are many things which I am going to share in this session, which will be helpful to you in future. Yes, so kilogram, kg, Kelvin from Lord Kelvin, that's why capital K. Pressure from Pascal, right, named after the great scientist Pascal, that's why PA, capital P, small a. Exception, there is one exception. The Celsius temperature has the accepted name degree Celsius, although it is named after the scientist Celsius, not degree Celsius. Remember. So example, if I want to write 25 kg, 25 kg, so 25 space kg. This is how do we write. Always give space between the numeral and its unit. So 3.2 into 10 to the power minus 2, then give one space meter cube. 100 degree centigrade. No space between degree and centigrade. 300 space Kelvin. Got it? No space between 10 and degree if it is at superscript. Don't give space between the numeral and its unit when it is in superscript. Even with the minute and with seconds. Right? We represent minute like 5 minute and seconds like this. So thus the symbol degree, minute, seconds are to be selected from the list of the symbols. So correct representation 25 kg. Don't use periods after the units. Right? It is again a wrong representation. Each and every information is important, right? Symbols should not be pluralized. Don't write kgs, grams, GMS. This is wrong representation. Kg, kg, gm. Right? So kgs, 25 kgs. Wrong representation. Even example, 25 kilograms, 5 millimeters, milliliters, right? Few exceptions are there. Units like lux, hertz, and Siemens do not change their form in plural. Do not change their form in plural. So if I want to write 25 kilograms, then we should write as kilograms. We should not write kgs here. If we want to pluralize it, we should not write kgs here. If at all we want to use the plural form, then we should write kilograms in words, millimeters in words. But while using 25 lux, 25 hertz, we don't write hertz, we don't write luxes, we don't write Siemens, right? These are few exceptions. Yes, and again, this is important. Symbol is not italicized. Symbol is not italicized. It is written in upright Roman letters, such as M for meter. These are symbols. Don't italicized symbols in paper. M for meter, S for second. To distinguish them from italicized Roman letters used for mathematical variables such as M for mass and S for specific gravity. So these are italicized. M for mass and S for specific gravity. If we are using small m twice, one should be italicized. Which one should be italicized? Which represents physical quantity. One should use m for mass. If you are using m for mass and m for meter in the paper, so unit should not be italicized. Physical quantity should be italicized, right? So m for mass and s for specific gravity should be in italics. Next. So that's why 25 kg is incorrect, 25 kg is correct in this sense. Symbols for derived units formed by the product of multiple units are followed by either space or a center dot, raised dot. Sometimes it is also called as raised dot, separating individual unit symbols. That's why N into M, it is the unit of torque. T is equal to, tau is equal to I alpha. Right? Newton meter is its unit. So Newton space meter. If you want to put period, then don't give space in between. Newton dot meter. Kg second or kg dot second. Got it? Next. Symbols for derived units formed by the division of two units are separated by solids or indicated by negative exponent or are represented by fraction. Right? All three methodologies can be used. Right? This is solidus, meter per second square. Even if you want to write the negative component as exponent, then meter space, see space, second to the power minus 2, m dot second to the power minus 2, or even you can write like this, right? Generally we go with this. While using both multiplication and division, use the above rules and ensure that there is no ambiguity in its interpretation. Right? Like kg into meter to the power minus 1 into second to the power minus 2, and so on. SI derived units may be used in conjunction with other derived units to denote other SI derived units. Let's see the table. Likewise, Pascal into second. If you are using periods, then don't give space. And even you can use solids. Newton per meter, radian per second square, and so on. A few non-SI units are also accepted for the use with the SI units, and these are given here, right? This we have discussed, like many times we use electron volt in chemistry, physics, electronics. This unit is quite common. A few other non-SI units are also used along with SI units, but acceptance of this practice is under review. You can have a look at this. Nautical mile, even knot, hour, hectare, bar, even angstrom. This is in practice. Even barn, curie, Roentgen, radian, rem. These are some of the units. And a few more things. Electrical energy, as it is energy, it is often used in measured in kilowatt hour instead of megajoules or joule. Calorie is related to energy, and it is used as a heat unit indicating the amount of heat required to raise the temperature for 1 gram of 1 kilogram or unit mass of a substance by 1 degree centigrade. Blood pressure is measured in mm of Hg instead of Pascal. Right, and so on. Right, I won't discuss all the things because there are so many things I want to highlight. I will share this file with you. Let's move to another file. Guidelines on tables and figures. You can note it down. Every table must have a title. The title appears on the top of the table. It should be short, preferably one line. Clear, it should be self-explanatory. You can give a subtitle if at all it is required, right? Or you can use parenthesis. One should give table number followed by colon, like table number 5, table 5, table space 5, colon, followed by the title. Number of tables with the chapter numbers, if you are writing a book chapter or if you are writing some section, and if you are representing figures in that section, then you can use 5.1, 5.2, 6.2, etc. Right. Usually we don't use The suffix letters in the tables, we avoid using suffix letters like 5 instead of 5.1, 5.2, 5.1a or b or something like that. Tables in the appendix are numbered as A1, A2, B1, B2, etc. If you want to add tables as appendix or as supplementary file, then the table number will be A1, A2, B1, B2, and so on. The word table precedes the title of the table, and this is the correct way to represent it. Table 5.1 colon population of metropolitan cities and in parentheses in million persons. Don't put period after that. This is a common mistake. The entire line containing table, title, and title number is usually centered. Is usually centered. The line containing the table number and the title should be in title case. Should be in title case. I hope all these terminologies are known to you. If you are using Word, then you can get all these terminologies at the top, right? What do we mean by title case? What do we mean by centered? What do we mean by justified? What is left centered? What is paragraph, right? With some prepositions, example of at etc. articles, a, an, and the coordinating conjunctions, that is or, and, but, etc. in lower cases. If we are using these things, if we are using articles in the title, if we are using prepositions in the title, if we are using coordinating conjunctions in the title, so it should be in lower case, right? Usually every column of table has a column heading which defines the contents of that column. Column heading. Sometimes each row may have its row heading. Whenever meaningful, the units of measure must be given within parentheses. Voltage. So I will use a parenthesis in order to give the information about its unit. So it will be capital V for voltage in the parenthesis, right? Force, parenthesis, millinewton or Newton, right? Usually the first column of a table called a stub contains an independent variable. First column generally contains independent variable. Try to understand the importance of this. Dependent variable and independent variable. Independent variable is your variable that you are varying, that you are deciding. And dependent variable is something which you are getting after changing the independent variable. So if you are changing this, because of that, the second column will change automatically. Your data will change, right? If at all that is there in the system. So first column should be independent, should be of independent variable, second and so on will be dependent variable. The stub heading is always in singular, while all other headings are in singular or plural according to the sense of the entries. The unit of measure of each entry in a column must be same as indicated in the column heading. Thus, a column should not contain different kinds of informations. Instead, Two or more columns should be used to convey the information, right? Center the column headings when the column entries are numerical data. Column entries should be centered if the data is numerical data or even 2 or 3 letter words, but left align if the entries are text. See how important is this information, right? No one will tell you such things, right? When it should be centered, when it should be left aligned, when it should be right aligned, right? So it should be centered or left aligned. If all entries are in text, it should be left aligned. Numerals centered, right? Now, if suppose you have a data, n number of data, 2 digits, 3 digits, then how to represent those digits after 3 digit if 2 digit number is there. So this is the correct way of representation, right? This is not the correct way because the third place is empty and the value will be different. If at all we'll add 0 or anything here, so 22. So this is the correct way of representation in the table data entry. Again with decimals, 23.46, 23.46. If the next data is 2.30, right? So 2.30 should be represented like this. Decimal should match with decimal vertically. It should be vertically aligned, right? This is incorrect way of putting the data. If the entries in the column are text materials and are short in length, they are centered. Otherwise, the texts are left aligned. This we have already discussed. Sometimes all data in the table column are not of the same unit. Agree? In such case, they should be left justified. Left justified. When dealing with large numbers, so express that in terms of scientific notations, 10 to the power 3 or 10 to the power minus 3, 10 to the power 9, 10 to the power minus 9, right? Along the unit lines and give a footnote to explain. You can give a footnote below the table, right? And you can explain the value of that. You can put an asterisk mark over there and you can tell the meaning of that asterisk mark at the footnote. Got it? There are some messages, I guess. Left justified means I will open the Word document and I will demonstrate you. What do I mean by left justified, centered and right, right? We'll do it at the end of the session. Choose the level of precision to which you like to specify the values of the entries in the column. If the whole number part of a number is very large, the decimal fraction containing many digits may not be meaningful. Conversely, if the whole number is very small, the decimal fraction containing many digits may be meaningful. This is a common sense. So if you are representing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right, 12,456, And after decimal, you are trying to give importance to all three digits. So it's of no use, right? Just try to understand the importance of significant figures here, right? So with respect to these decimals, so this big number will have more impact, right? So either you can represent like this or 12, 4, 5, 6. So don't try to follow your calculators. This mistake is because of your calculators. You do some calculations and you write 12.336780. Whatever digits your calculator shows, you put all the values there, right? So try to decide the significant figures in your data. The number of digits after the decimal point should be same for every entry in the column to reflect the same level of precision to which all items are specified. Right? If the first entry is 23.45, then the second entry should have two decimal places. 22.20, not 22.2. Got it? Yes, even you may use standard abbreviations and standards for non-technical terms. For example, number for NO dot for number. These are standard abbreviations, right? Percent symbol. And even for statistics, the chi-square, mu, sigma square, these are well known to the scientific world, right? In case of cell in the table, in case a cell in the table does not have any entry, empty space, put a dash in that and explain it in general note to the table that follows the table immediately and appear on the same page as the table. Like a dash is different from hyphen, right? Don't do this mistake, right? Check what is dash and what is hyphen. Often data unnecessary in the context are presented in the table. Remove such unnecessary data. There are so many things. I will go one by one quickly now. Many standard software packages give as output a large number of tables. If you include them in your text, you must discuss each column in each such table and highlight their significance. Else, do not include all of them. Every table must be referred to in the text by corresponding table number, either directly or parenthetically. City names and their populations are given in table 12.1. Each city has its own population. You can represent like this also. Table 12.1 gives the names of the cities and their populations, right? From the body text. Do not refer to a table as the table above, below, or the table on page 45. Got it? Discuss in the text the contents of the tables and their significance and bring out hidden relationships among the variables. Any special point for an items of a table can be made as footnote to the table. Footnote to the table. Let me check if I can show you something like this. We'll check at the end of the session. I will skip few points. I don't have much time left. Yeah, I will discuss figures. Yes, figures should have a caption. A short one-line caption is desirable. The word figure or the abbreviation figure, FIG dot. It starts with the abbreviation FIG dot, and the figure number followed by the colon and space. Colon and space. Figure 5, colon, right? And then space. Use the chosen word consistently in both the text and the figure caption. No period appears after figure caption. For example, figure 5.1. This is correct representation. Even if we want to use the abbreviated form, figure 5.1 colon, then space, probability density, function of population density. Again, don't use periods. Avoid using periods with the caption of figures tables, right? The figure number, 1 minute. The figure number follows a double numeration system where the first number indicates the chapter number, that is 5, and the second number indicates the serial number in the figure in that chapter. If you are writing thesis, if you are writing dissertation, then use 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, and so on. And yes, all abbreviations should be well defined. Yes, and some botanical names, use italics for that. Again, it is related to the density of the text. It should never be thinner than 0.5 point and should be of uniform density. Resolution. It should have minimum resolutions of 300 dpi, that is dots per inch. Make sure. You can make figures in PowerPoints. You can make figures using different softwares. Even you can make graphical abstracts, right? So whenever you will approach any journal, they will ask you to submit figures separately, and it should have good resolution. Minimum requirement is 300 dots per inch. Graph, yes. Whenever you draw a graph, label both x and y axis and write their units of measure. I will show you the graph. These are the graphs in paper. You can see voltage. So parenthesis, under parenthesis, we have represented its unit. It is measured in volt. Current density, it is measured in milliampere per centimeter square, right? And units should be well defined. You can see this graph also. If you want to compare, that is also permissible. You can have different types of graph. For drawing graph, we generally opt origin software. So try to learn this. Again, you can get this origin software from Ashish sir, I guess. Every researcher must be having this, and try to learn how to draw different types of graph from that. Let's move to, yes, do not crowd the interval marks on the axis scales. Again, labeling. Labels should not be less than 8 point. Should not be label. Should not be less than 8 point. Right? The size of the label. Guidelines related to photographs. Right? And for next 5 to 10 minutes, I would like to discuss one more important thing related to mathematical materials. It will take 15 minutes. I will take those 15 minutes again because these are again very, very important while writing the paper. So one should maintain the consistency in representing the numerals. So don't use 0.05 into 10 to the power 5 in one place, and in another place don't change the exponent, right? Try to keep it simple. Whatever you are using for the first time, repeat that. Standard notation: 5.0 space into space 10 to the power minus 3. See the space in between. Don't represent like this in the form of exponents, e to the power. Decimal fractions should be preceded by zeros except for the probability. If you want to tell the probability of something, you can use 0.25. Right? Use of symbol percent. Whenever you will use percent symbol, don't give the space in between the numeral and symbol. If you want to write percent, then use the words 5, F-I-V-E, percent, 5%. The symbol is not repeated with each number in a series or with each number in range of values. 5, 10, and 15%. So you can write 5 to 10%. Location of a number. A sentence does not start with number. Don't start any statement with number. Right? 25%. Right? 25 in words. If you are starting the sentence, 25 persons were included. This is the correct way to write. Then for the compound numbers, again, this is very important. Hyphen separates the individual numbers of a compound number and also the ordinal counterparts. Like 21, 34, these are compound numbers. 21st century, 34th rank. So use hyphen in between. Number that are 9 or less, very important, right? Should be written in words in the text. Don't write there are 9 bananas. There are 9 samples. Don't represent by numeral. Use NINE instead, right? If it is more than 10, it is more than 9, then use the numeral 10, 15, 20. If a series of number contains both less and more than 10, series of number, I want to represent something by telling that 2, 5, 6, 15, 14, then you can represent like that, like 2, 5, 10, 15, 18. There are 25 samples. Each sample has a size of 5. There are 25 samples. Each sample has a size of 5. Got it? Simple. Marks secured by 5 students are 2, 5, 10, 15, 18. Don't write here TWO or FIVE. 1000 operator. Yeah, it depends again. Symbols: plus, minus, into, division and divide. Take precautions while using this symbol. There is a difference between division symbol and solidus from the keyboard. You can check where is division and where is solidus. With question mark, there is solidus. Don't use that symbol for division. Right. Let's move. Scalars, then vectors. Vectors will be in bold letters. Mathematics people should pay attention. And tensors are represented by capital letters and italics. It is boldface italics. Vectors are represented as boldface italics and it is lightface italics. Variables, constants and unknown quantities. Italics. If it is variable, it will be in italics. Subscripts are numbers. Subscripts are numbers. Subscripts are variables. The variable indicate constant value. Greek letters such as alpha, beta are always set in Roman. Standard functions. There are some standard functions: cos function, exponential function, log function, cosine, cos h, limit, right? All are set in Roman. Log, then space, then variable x in italics. I will move ahead. This I have already discussed. Yes, equations. Each equation should appear immediately after it is referenced in the text. Make sure. To make it look distinct, it should be separated from the text, both preceding and following it, by a larger line spacing. By a larger line spacing compared to one provided in the text, and should be set off from the left margin with an indentation like this. So this is well separated. Not this much will be required, right? So z is equal to x plus y, ellipsis, equation number in parenthesis. I won't go into this. When a mathematical expression forces one to create additional line spacing, write fractions and exponentiations as follows. That is x by y and exp xy and so on. So all these materials will be shared with you, and with this I would like to stop and